Welcome to Distorted Realities. Here are your hosts, J Rock and Frank Walls.
Hey folks, welcome to Distorted Realities. My name is J Rock and alongside me is Mr. Frank Walls.
What up, guys? How you guys doing today? I hope you guys are listening. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe, and stay ready and stay tuned for what we're gonna have to offer today. Okay?
Awesome. So how's your week been?
Very too much work.
It's been jam-packed. So a lot of work has been done to share some new content, right? Some new news, and to get people involved, right? And I mean by involved, sharing their stories and articulating their experiences. And yeah, so we promised that we would condense our show a bit and restructure it. And in doing so, right, we now have two cryptids in the cryptid section, cryptid discoveries. You have In Search of Aliens, you have two aliens, but now we supplement you with a 1-minute episodic short story that we will present every week. All right, and they will vary in theme and style.
Yeah.
So for today, you will see one that's involves some horror storytelling, classic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Understanding that we really want to express our gratitude for you guys viewing our episodes. Our viewership is increasing, and our subscriber base is increasing. And just remember that if you are supporting us and you have friends and people around, you tell them to watch the Distorted Realities channel and hit
Like and subscribe.
there you go. Like and subscribe. So with that, good news. So as of tomorrow, 6/10, at 1:30 p.m., our Printify shop will be open with
Perfect.
all the new shirts. What I do have here is the shop view. So you see a couple of, these are just demonstrations for you to see, but there'll be a whole lot more at the Printify shop. And for you to go to the Printify store, the link is above. https://distorted-realities-shop.printifyme/products. All right, so when you get a chance, watch the go to the website, take a look at something, and see the product line and tell us what you think. If you're interested, purchase it, show support, and we're gonna provide an email, right?
Yeah.
This is something brand new for us, where we ask that if you did purchase the product, take a picture, send it to us, and we'll reward the person with the prize, depending on who wins. There will be more details to come. So let's say you get a shirt, you go to a creepy location and you have a shirt on.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, right? So we would want to see stuff like that happening. So yeah, that's the Printify store news. So yeah, now we have a speaker, a guest that's going to join us later on
Yeah.
in the show. At the tail end of the cryptid section. I'm super excited. Her name is Sam, and she's going to share her experience. And this is what Distorted Realities is really all about.
Exactly.
It's about no bias, no judgment. This is about you sharing your story, putting it out there.
Exactly.
And giving us the ability to discover our own truths based on these narratives. Right, and not just the narratives, but there's a lot of work that goes into this, right? You do research. We look at personal documented cases where people talk about these things, and yeah, on video, right? It looks very pretty because we do AI videos, like shorts. We talk about it, and we do so with the idea that we don't take ourselves too serious, right? We just want to have fun with this and make sure that you're having fun watching us.
Exactly.
Right, and that you're part of this process. So yeah, I think really good. So as promised, a 1-minute horror short, episodic short, and his name is Jimmy.
Little Jimmy.
Yeah. It's called the terrifying. Wait, what was it called? The Terrifying Adventures of Jimmy, or Jimmy's Terrifying Adventures. Right.
Episode 1.
Episode 1. Tell us what you think, and just remember these are short. We have to condense them. And the good news is these shorts in particular, the episodics, will be released in increments. So 1 week on that day, and then in between the week you'll get the second episode, like Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
These are designed to be like that so that you can watch between Rocking Out with J Rock, Behind the Walls with Frank Walls. Right. So, any thoughts?
I think it's an excellent new approach, and I think people are gonna like it. It's very original.
Well, this is an old saying, right? If the people like it, I love it.
Exactly.
So let's go with it and on to the first video.
Hit it.
All right, so that was the first episode, right? So the idea behind this, right?
Kind of scary looking.
We as kids are mortified, and let me just switch screens here. We as kids are mortified of things we do not understand, right? But we're also curious in nature. And the idea is this kid is going in there and he's roaming around. And it's already, sunset, and he sees this abandoned home. Something piques his curiosity. Maybe he could find something or of value. So he goes inside this home, and then this old, creepy, ghoul-looking lady there. And it reminds me of when I was a kid, right? There was a lady who used to live in the third floor of the building we used to live in. And every time my mom would send me on an errand, oh, go upstairs and take this bowl of food to such and such, my heart would sink. And we would call her La Bruja. Yeah. Now, when you're a kid, appearances matter, right? So
Yeah.
she looked everything that the description fits to make you a witch, or what we call in Spanish, La Bruja.
Yeah.
Right? To the point where she had a car parked in a lot in the neighborhood, right? And as kids, we would jump on her car and scream, La Bruja, La Bruja, La Bruja, the witch, the witch, the witch. And she would come out the window and scream at us, and we would see that face. And, years later, as adults, we come to know that she's a wonderful person. She was just very rough, and she had a very stoic
Appearance.
very stoic appearance. But with this kind of story, though, it's kind of segue into something different, right? Which is the idea that our curiosity sometimes gets the best of us.
Oh yeah.
Our innocence sometimes can be, mired by that unknown factor, that person that's on the other side of the wall looking at that to exploit you. Right now, we don't know what the old lady's gonna do yet, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know what's up with the kid. Did he get home safe? We're not gonna know till the next episode. But these are shorts to make you think. It's not just about the horror, right? It's about the idea. I want you to look into where we try to process this in a way where when we present it, and we want you to think critically to some extent. Go back to your past, to your childhood, about something that creeped you out or made you scared, and try to find that connection and that correlation. I mentioned in the last episode, I mentioned in Rocking Out with J Rock, episode 3. Sorry, if he's talking about episode 6.
Yeah.
That you cannot have good without evil,
Yeah.
right? But no one ever discusses how it should be balanced and played out, right? And that's what my approach is to this whole thing. So yeah, I hope you liked it. The next subject we're going to talk about is going to be fantasy based.
Fantasy.
Yeah, we're going to explore fantasy. Not just regular fantasy like RPG stuff, right?
Gotcha.
Role playing games for those who don't know. Fantasy as in dark fantasy. We're going to find some real dark lore and carve something out so that you can enjoy. We want something for everyone. If you're a geek, come this way. If you're a gamer, we'll make a section for you. I play tons of video games.
Oh, yeah. You
And
have a lot.
I'm a big fan of Castlevania. So there you go. So yeah, something for everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed this one and more to come. So I think that kind of covers our initial statement.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts so far?
About the video, or
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. I mean, when I was a young kid, I used to be like that too. And my mom always told me, remember, curiosity killed the cat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Macho Man used to use that a lot.
yeah.
So yeah, curiosity
Kill the cat.
So yeah, are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're running into the cryptid segment.
Let's go. Let's hit the cryptid sections, guy. I hope you like it.
All right, folks, here we are. We are at the cryptid discovery section, right? So this is where we get to pick out 2 cryptids, and we traveled in opposite directions, north and south. The first one being a cryptid from Colombia. And believe it or not, a lot of lore and origins come from this,
Yeah.
right? So without further ado, El Coco.
El Coco.
So why don't you tell us about El Coco?
Well, El Coco, that's the name they use in Colombia, right? But in Puerto Rico, they call him El Cuco. And also in, I think, Santo Domingo, too. Or Dominican Republic.
What they call them?
El Cuco, yeah.
Like
same.
this?
Yeah, Cuco, yeah.
Hold on one second, because I'm trying to figure out.
El Cuco.
Hold on one second. That
Oh
one?
my God,
That's Antonio Rosario, El Cuco.
that's the real one.
That's the real one.
That's the real Cuco.
So yeah, so that's a famous Latin merengue singer, right? They had a family called the Hermano Rosario,
Yeah.
and he became like the elite one, right?
Yeah.
And they're all, by the way, they were all called the uglies of merengue because they all were considered ugly people, according to the fans, right?
Yeah.
So El Feo del Merengue, but
Yeah.
they would say that jokingly, not as a way to assault them, but he wrote a song called El Cuco,
El Cuco, yeah.
right? A merengue song, but it's really funny that
That was his nickname.
that
El
was
Cuco.
El Cuco, yeah.
yeah.
So El Coco.
El Coco.
So why they call it El Coco? So it's very simple. It's a brown, slender-like creature that has brown hair, right? And what appears like a brown ape creature, right, with hair. What's the fruit you can identify with? It's a coconut.
I heard they like to be, according to the people that I've seen and stuff like that, underneath the beds, inside the closets.
So let me tell you, after a little digging, El Cuco or El Coco is the origin story of what we know as the boogeyman.
The boogeyman.
That's
there you
it. So it's the boogeyman.
I heard
you know,
he crossed the border, and
no,
that's how he became American, and then he changed his name. To
Oh,
the
so that's
boogeyman.
what it was. He had a passport. So he kind of elevated his status in the world of the cryptid world, right? We tend to. I think this is a really good discussion piece, right? How we take something and we make it so grand and so majestic. This is one of those creatures that became that. It became larger than what it originally was because of the cross-cultural differences, right? So like, for example, Hispanics migrated to the United States. We took that part of ourselves,
We took the cuckoo with us.
yeah, we took it with us and we brought it there. So our moms would say, vete a dormir si no te va a comer el cuco. In other words, go to sleep. If not, the coco is going to get you, right? And in English, American, they would say, close your doors and turn off your lights or the boogeyman is going to show up.
They even used to sing like Nana songs like to babies, like duérmete niño, duérmete ya, que si no viene el cuco y te comerá. We'll be like sleep before if you don't sleep, the cuco is gonna devour you.
I think you got something going on here.
I don't know.
We should do an album. Yeah, Frank Wall's Cryptid Story
Cryptid
album.
songs.
There you go. So it's known to terrorize the Colombian villages as El Coco. In the urban setting, it is the guy that's underneath your bed. It is the creature that is in your closet, looking at you when the door's slightly open. And a lot of people, right, they develop this fear about it.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy.
So to me, I like this one.
Yeah.
I like it. And you want to know why I like it? Because it's cross-cultural.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's adaptable.
This
It's
is what I got
relatable.
here on Wiki. It
Sure.
says the coco or coca, also known as the cucuy, cuco, cuca, cucu, cucuy, el cucuy, is a mythical ghost-like monster equivalent to the boogeyman, found in Spain and Portugal. Those beliefs have also spread in many Hispano-American and also different countries all over the world. It can also consider a Iberian version of the bugbear, that is commonly used figure of speech representing a irrational or exaggerated fear. Wow.
Interesting.
So all over the world. He's all over the world.
So it's kind of like this should get the J-Rock certified
Yeah.
cryptid approval.
You should.
I'm putting the stamp on it. Frank got his
Chupacabra.
approval on the Chupacabra, so I'm gonna have to put my seal on it when I put the shirt.
You should.
Put the shirt out. All right. So yeah, believable? Yes or no?
A lot of people had report seeing the cuckoo, So
All right. So I think I'm gonna believe it, man. I'm gonna believe it because you don't have to believe the physical appearance of it. I believe the aura that it caught us when we were kids.
gotcha.
That
Yeah,
I
we-
gotta go to sleep. I
we
gotta
grew
make
up.
sure I'm gonna make sure I'm knocked out before everybody because I want to make sure that I don't have to hear any footsteps, anything. I want to make sure my closet door is closed. I want to make sure that my bed sheets are covered from
The
head to
window,
toe.
the
So,
window.
Yeah.
Everything.
So I like this. So yes, thumbs up for El Cuco or
El cuco.
Coco.
Well, Coco, yeah.
Or Tonio Rosario.
Toño Rosario.
He gets a thumbs up. His music was great. So let's watch the video.
Let's watch,
of
guys.
El Coco. Or El Cuco. Or El Cucuy.
El cucuy.
Let's go.
Living in the countryside of Colombia lies a cryptid that has been the embodiment of fear throughout all of Latin America. El Coco, or often referred to as El Cuco, this tall brownish monster has been terrorizing the Colombian village folk for years. This creature has been modernized by Hispanic and is known as El Cuco, but it is the origin of what we know today as the Boogeyman. Be sure to keep the lights on at night, or El Coco might be ready to jump out of your closet.
All right, that's the video.
Ese es el cuco. Very interesting.
Now I have merengue in my
In your
head.
head.
Right?
Ding,
So-
ding,
so-
ding, 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 ding.
All right, so the next one.
We're going to talk about the infamous. A lot of people have seen this creature or cryptid or ghost or figure.
Yeah, so for me, it's special entity, right? And I want to talk about this on the slide, and then we'll present the video, and then we'll get the caller on. But this is a very special type of cryptid where it's not physical, right? And it's more of a, I don't know if it's ethereal, right? I think it's more of a other dimensional, multi-dimensional,
multi-dimensional being.
So it's called the Hat Man.
The Hat.
I'm working on this one, right? Just the images, like trying to create the images alone, makes you feel some kind of way,
Oh yeah.
right? Because it's that dread, that presence of like just paleness, nothingness. You know, it's fear-inducing. The idea that it can manifest itself in the form of a shadow, right? While you're sleeping, it can create sleep paralysis.
That's very interesting though, because a lot of people that be like, they've been saying like they have alien contacts and stuff. They said that they get that sleep paralysis
Right.
when they're visited by aliens or stuff like that.
Okay. So in my case, and I'm just notifying the caller.
Yeah, it's very very interesting because I got here. This says numerous people claim to have walked in the dark to find a shadowy figure, dubbed the Hat Man, looming over looming over them. The phenomenon has attracted widespread attention, inspiring documentaries, and the launch of a dedicated blog, the Hatman Project, where people can share their experiences. So apparently, a lot of people have seen this and had a lot of experience with it, and they're all like resonate, kind of like saying they get sleep paralysis. So that's very interesting. Yeah.
It is. It is. I've heard that. This type of individual feeds on something, right? I'm curious as to know on what it feeds at. There's also some discussion about it evolving into a different kind of entity.
Yeah.
So there's a game that's being played lately, right? I believe it's called Red Door, Yellow Door.
Something like that. Yeah.
And this entity is now involved, right? Again, I'm not a subject matter expert. I've never experienced this, and later on we'll get that person to share their experience and their thoughts. But can this? So there's because it's associated with dreams, and my head is all over the place because there's this one character, or it's like a type of cryptid that they say that you see his face, and they actually have a drawing of him, and he's always smiling, right? And they say that when you see him in your dreams, you have to be careful, yada yada yada. So, is it that? Is it what's its intention?
Gotcha.
That's what drives me to know more about this. Every cryptid, for example, El Coco, right? It's terrorizing a village. It needs to feed. It needs to do something, right? Or the boot in Indonesia,
The boots.
right?
Yeah.
It feeds on souls, right? For revenge. What is this particular entity doing? What's the purpose behind him? What's his makeup?
Could be maybe he get your energy, but when you get scared or something like that. I got this from Wiki. This is like there's a Haiti deity or whatever spooky thing from Haiti that they believe is called the Baron Samendi. It's usually depicted with a top hat, black tailcoat, dark glasses, and cotton plugs in their nostrils. That is to resemble a corpse dressed as they prepare for a burial in the Haitian style. It's frequently depicted as a skeleton, but sometimes as a black man that merely has his face painted as a skull and speaking in a nasal voice. He is noted to disruption of sanity and debauchery and having a particular fondness for tobacco and rum. So, kind of like look the same. They wear the hat. They have the so could be that spirit. That's like a voodoo spirit. You know what I mean? So it's a bad spirit. So
That's interesting. I don't know. It's something about this character that drives me away, but lures me in at the same time. You know, like I don't want to deal with it, but I'm interested in knowing what you do. You know, and I think that's what I guess people who are involved with this particular cryptid might have that same sense or sensation. Because again, as individuals, we look at this from a naive perspective, right? We look at it as it cannot happen, right? But then when it does, you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like, what is this?
I got this over here. It says he chases after mortal women. He loves smoking and drinking, and is rarely seen without a cigar in his mouth, or glass or rum in his fingers. So, Baron Samedi can actually be found at the crossroad between the worlds of dead and the living. When someone's died, he digs their grave and gets their soul after they have been buried.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
All right, so we're gonna segue into the video. Let's watch the video, and then we'll just get into a brief introduction for Sam.
Yeah.
All
Perfect.
right, so without further ado, folks, the Hat Man.
A man lurks in the shadow called the Hat Man. His story is unknown, but his acts incite fear to those who see him. Rumor has it that a man with a long coat and a hat appears while people are sleeping and causes sleep paralysis. It appears that the Hat Man invades your dreams and turns them into nightmares. Pray that you don't sleep at night and run into the Hat Man, as your dreams may become your worst nightmares.
All right, so we are here. This is the talking segment. We're just waiting for Sam to call in, but before we begin, this particular discussion piece is super important because we're getting documented evidence from someone who's experienced it, right? And when I say documented, it doesn't mean pen and paper. Somebody's sharing the experience verbally. That's a form of documenting it. We're sharing it in the media. For the sake of anonymity, we're keeping their information private. So we want to make sure that we be respectful of that individual. All right. So without further ado, we're going to have Sam on the call. Hello, Sam.
Hey guys, Sam here.
Hi, Sam. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Well, first of all, thank you for joining us and for allowing us to hear your story. So without further ado, the floor is all yours. What do you want to share with us about your experience with the Hat Man?
Yep.
Well, it's crazy. Like, I was just watching you guys, and I'm like, my heart's pounding because literally, like, I'm looking at your frame right now. The picture at the bottom of, like, I can't even talk because at the bottom of Frank Walls, that's literally what it would be with my experience. It was, you know, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I've heard stories about this entity or this thing. I don't even think it could even be determined as an entity because it was so consuming, so evil. It was this thing that I kept hearing things about, never experienced it, never believed it. My brother seen this man, my cousin seen this man while he was with my brother. And then one day, multiple people, I'm saying my father, grandmother, grandfather, aunt, uncles, all of them just seen this man. And I think it was Trujillo Alto. And it was just a horrible experience. It almost felt like it was consuming the spirit out of you, the happiness, the joy. I remember my first encounter with this thing was, you know, I live in Florida and my family moved over here. My parents were fighting a lot. My brother was in his own world, and it almost felt like due to school, due to life, because life when you're a kid.
Right.
It felt almost drowning. It felt horrible. I felt this thing that just kept almost watching me, and I would sleep, and it almost felt like I couldn't dream, and I didn't. For many years, I didn't dream anything. And one day, out of nowhere, I was just in like a fish bowl with this thing just watching me, and this thing raining, and I was just in this cabin, and it was just there. I was in this cabin, rain pouring, and I couldn't leave. And every time I attempted to leave through a window, through a door, it was my death. It was just absolutely death for me. So I began to not want to sleep. And when I would wake up, or when I would just stay awake, this thing would just be in the corner of my room. And I see the pictures, and it almost looks like he has pants there, but not in my experience. It's like a long tarp that he would wear. There was nothing. I would see this thing, this entity, and it would be emptiness, pitch black. And how can you see a shadow in the middle of pitch black room and still see them? So I began to tell my family, and my family was going through so many problems that they didn't believe me. And this thing just kept torturing me and torturing me. It felt like I couldn't breathe. And one day I told my grandmother, and religious old ladies, okay, I'll just bless your room, and began to bless my room and holy water on my doors, on my windows. And for a while it worked. This thing just went away. I remember that my aunt, uncle, cousins were staying over. They traveled from Puerto Rico to Florida to go to like the parks and things like that. And they were sleeping in the downstairs area in the living room. And my 5-year-old cousin, out of nowhere the next day, starts saying, this thing, like dressed like this, it was just black, and like there was nothing on him, there was no face, came through the door. It was almost choking and left out the window. From that day, my family believed me. And they began to take me to this therapies, and they were like, oh, can you draw what you think? And I'm telling you, I drew this thing so many times and burned his drawing so many times that it just felt consuming. I felt it was something in the house, in my family. And then it got worse. Because once after that experience and people believed me, it was like, I'm not crazy, I'm not going insane. Somebody else in my house seeing this entity. So at that point, family problems got worse, and I just got in my own bubble, and depression began to consume me. Loneliness began to like creep in, and this thing just reappeared and just didn't want to go, and it didn't want to go.
So I have a question, Sam.
Yeah.
So this has been a while ago. So where are we today? Like, is Sam did you overcome this ordeal? How are you moving forward?
Well, so after that happened, today I'm a mama too, and I'm just wishing that this thing did not follow me, because I don't want it to catch my kids the way I feel like it followed my father, because he has had the most experience with this entity. And the way I see it is that after this happened, it was, I think the last few times I saw it constantly, and it got really bad. It was like 2013. And, it got to the point like I attempted suicide multiple times. Depression was really bad. It was really asphyxiating. Like, it would take my breath away.
Wow.
And my father and I moved from that house. My family pretty much split up. I feel this thing had a big part of it. His energy had a big part of it. So when I moved, it just disappeared for so long.
Okay,
Come
good.
2015, and I fell into this big depression again, and I saw it one time, and we moved from that home afterwards, and I never saw it again. And it almost felt like it would come in to the weakest person and try and take something.
It feeds off of energy.
Yeah.
It feeds off of
so
negative
that's what
energy.
I felt. So when I was at my lowest, I felt like it was trying to take something from me. And I don't know if you guys have been able to relate, but it's more of like the saying, don't kick somebody when he's already down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it felt like. This thing, and I kept hearing things afterwards. This game, red door, yellow door. Oh, if you see him run, he will consume the energy out of you. This and that, and I kept hearing stories of this entity, this thing, and I'm like, it's not a game. Like I was there, I was just in the border of taking my life away because I couldn't breathe. Being
Wow.
alive meant that I had to breathe with this entity living right there
Wow.
near me. It almost felt like I couldn't move from my bed and I just had to look at him. He would make me look at him. The way my father described him is this pitch black figure with red eyes, blood on like red eyes. I never saw that. I never saw the red eyes. I just saw this pitch black thing waiting for me. It almost felt like it was waiting for me to leave this, this plane and take me with it.
Wow. Sam,
Yeah.
that is very intense.
Wow.
And you're telling your story, and I'm like feeling, I'm feeling the undulating fear of the experience, the feeling of drowning in water, grasping for air, right? I'm also getting a sense of today where you are, and now I'm just flipping it into the positive. You've overcome this. You're a family person now. So that's a testament to your resilience, right? Because a lot of
Exactly.
people, right, they have a tendency to get consumed by these things, and it could have easily gotten very wrong, right? But you took the right measures. You overcame it, and here you are today sharing your story, and that's impactful.
Thank
That's
God.
amazing, and thank you for sharing that and for being very open and sincere. I guess my question is, what would you want to relate to these kids that are playing these games nowadays that call into these kind of entities?
Well, thank you, first of all, for hearing me out. And, I want to inspire others to come and share your experience. I'm not the only one who has had experience. Even like when you turn around and see a weird shadow shake like something, it means something. To the person I am today, I've always been very sensitive to other planes. I know there's something else out there. I'm very religious as well, so I don't want to take it out of that proportion. But
Right.
honestly, to these kids that are playing this game, I was you. I know the games are calling. I know the sleepovers want to lure in these games, but you're not playing a game. You're opening a door. It's a door to something else. Whether you believe it or you don't, by you playing this game, you are opening that door to believe, and even from your fear or from your wanting to manifest some type of situation to happen, it can happen. You can manifest lights going in and out. You can manifest noises. But at the end of the day, your fear can manifest something into reality. So
Wow.
definitely from me being scared, I think it would bring this thing to be more present. And to hear this from people who I've never met that have actually seen this thing, this entity, is frightening. Absolutely frightening.
Do you think that could be a witchcraft job that was sent to your family by somebody that maybe hated your family or something like that?
So
Like voodoo
in Puerto
type?
Rico, yeah, my dad went through that. He there was his photo and a doll tied with needles and things like that was found inside of a freezer in an abandoned lot. So there was a lot of witchcraft back then, but I never thought that it would follow him. It would follow me.
Yeah,
So,
they
you know,
they look for the
Yeah.
weakest in the family, so sometimes they go to the children of the person and stuff like that.
Right.
Correct. And I've always been very sensitive to things, so I always thought that okay, it's just something else. But when it began to feel like it was choking me, it was taking the life out of me, I knew this wasn't just an entity. You know, I call it an entity because you can't call it a ghost.
Right.
Whatever this thing is not such a ghost. I don't think it has the power enough of a demon of some type of
Maybe perhaps some
uh,
kind of poltergeist.
Could be.
You think
could
you could
be.
fall into something like that where, you know, because I mean, I was looking at the pictures that's described, and he reminds me of the Quaker in Poltergeist, right? I kind of get the same thing, and believe it or not, in the Poltergeist movie, he was in a different dimension,
Yeah.
right? That's why he would collect the souls and stuff like that. So I kind of found parallels and similarities between this. Sam, any final words you would want to share with the people regarding your experience or anything about distorted realities?
Well, definitely I'll keep tuning in. You know,
Yes.
I'm here if you guys need. I'm very sensitive to things out there. And other than that, you know, there's something out there. Don't go checking what bumps out in the night because you might find something you don't like.
Got it.
And keep tuning into the distorted realities. You guys are doing awesome. And
I
can't wait to hear more.
have one last question. When they found that the voodoo doll and stuff, did they get rid of it, or how they dispose of it, or how?
See, I'm not sure about that. I know that my father at just 20 or 19, 20 years old, actually had like a heart attack and was almost about to die.
Wow.
And one of the needles that they found was like pitching
In
his
the heart.
heart. So it was very weird. And they found many more things. I don't know if one day you'll guys talk about it, but there's like brujas that actually like you would hear them in Trujillo Alto. You would hear the brujas, you would see different things walking around. The white lady, that's something that you can
Wow.
hear many stories about in Puerto Rico. So I'm
Right.
really glad we moved from there. At the same time as my isla, I miss it, I love it, but there's something wrong over there. Something's going
Yeah.
on, and a lot of
Spiritual.
witchcraft.
A lot.
All right. So, Sam, we want to say thank you so much for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
We'll make sure that when we hit other episodes that are more detailed, that we will bother you and take some of your experience and expertise on the subject, so that we can really make this a better experience. And
Oh, yeah.
outside of that, if you had to pick and choose a cup, right? I'm just pointing at my screen. Frank Walls or J Rock?
Oh, let me see. My screen's a little bit delayed. Let me give me 1 second.
Oh yeah, the delay. Yeah.
Frank Walls or J Rock?
There's always a delay.
I'll go with J Rock.
All right, there we go. So what's gonna happen is you're our very first interview here at Distorted Reality. So we'll send you a shirt and a mug. We'll get all the details, and we'll make sure that that this is so super amazing for us. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And we'll stay in touch.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to hear more from you guys.
All right.
Bye for now. Keep watching.
Thank you.
That was so cool. Wow, what a story.
It's very interesting.
What a story. It's so like I could feel every word she was saying. It was just this
Yeah.
boom.
I got goosebumps. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
it was hard hitting, but I felt the sincerity. I felt the sense of dread where she's like revisiting these thoughts. It takes a lot. Let me just segue to my. So it takes a lot to talk about these things, right? Because you're putting yourself out there, right? And we have, even me myself, I'm pretty sure you do, but we all have had some experience that we just bottle in because fear or uncertainty of being ridiculed or casted out or treated differently. And I love this. This is why I'm doing this, really. It's not just to talk about cryptids, but really about engaging a community of people who find these kind of things interesting. And hey, let's talk about it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm still a working class American. I still pay taxes. I still do everything everybody else does. I just find what we call the weird, the macabre, the horror, the sci-fi, the dark fantasy. I find it intriguing. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, Sam, you rock. Thank you so much for sharing that. You're amazing. So, Frank,
Yes, sir. Oh no, we're getting there.
It's that time.
It's that time.
It's that time.
Do
You
I
hear it?
I need like a foil
You hear
hat.
it?
We coming to get you, Frankie. I can't believe it.
Well, it's time to go. It's time to go to outer space and talk about In Search of Aliens.
Let's go. Let's show those aliens. Let's see it.
Hello, Earthlings. Today, we have two amazing cryptids. One of them is an original member of the Council of Five.
Finally.
He's a co-founder, actually, because it's one of well, there's two of them that founded it, and then the other three just joined in. You know, so for those of you who don't know, this came out of a book, right? That describes this big universal multi-dimensional war between group A, right, which is called the race Matra. These are all the bad aliens, and race B, the Council of Five, which consists of 2,500 species, five alien groups, and one race, meaning all of us are one, right? All the species are just the variations of these groups that live in different planets, clusters, you know, in different galaxies. And this one is called El Manuk. I like the way it sounds with
El Manuk. El Manuk. El Manuk.
El Manuk. It's co-founder of the Council of Five. It's a peaceful race. It is an ambassador of the council, but not just the council. It is an ambassador for the human race. It's the actual face of the human race when it deals with intergalactic treaties and stuff like that.
Do you think that one could be Hispanic in nature or something?
I mean,
Because of the name El Manuk, maybe.
Well, say it again in Spanish.
El Manuk.
It kind of has a ring
Right.
to it, right? So basically, protector of humans. They have actually, in the documentation, they've met with prior presidents, the United Nations, and other different political entities to discuss peace treaties and how to really regulate and protect humans from external forces.
I got here that says they were first spotted at Dominican Republic dancing with El Cuco Toño Rosario. That's what.
Well, maybe they taught El Cuco.
Maybe.
They kind of resemble each other, right?
Right.
In the picture.
Could
So, so I found this species very interesting. You don't get in the book, right? When you read the book, the was it Blue Book?
The alien book, you mean?
Yeah, it's Blue Book, I believe.
Blue book?
I forgot what the name of the book
I call
was.
them the alien book.
Well, the
Alien
book.
race book.
So
Yeah.
the alien book, basically, there's not a lot of friendly aliens.
Everybody
listed.
that asks me, I have an alien book with all their alien races. That's how
Right,
that's
right.
how they refer to the book.
So what's more interesting is the story of how we got this information, right?
Yeah.
Because the story behind the book itself was that it was passed down from a grandfather who was a war veteran for Germany,
Yeah,
and
right.
then he gave
came
it
to Russia, right?
Yeah, he came to Russia, and he got that book from his, from his great grandfather. He found it, and then he got all the story. He was like classified information, right? But all in all, very simple. I salute you, Manuk. All right, so.
Like that.
Oh yeah, like that. So without further ado,
Let's enjoy El Manuk.
El Manuk. From the constellation Grus, near the star Onair. One of the original founding members of the Council of Five and protector of the human species. This species is responsible for the saying 5 universes, 2,500 species, and 1 race. They are a peaceful species and ambassadors of the universal peace process. last sighted on Earth near the Sea of Cortez in 2002.
El Manuk.
El Manok. Interesting. I got
That's
some
you're
stuff
using
here.
my word.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm learning. Yeah.
No, so what are your thoughts?
About the race or
About the Manuk, the race itself.
the Manok. Well, it's good to see that we have another alien race that is like the humans, right? Because normally the other ones want to exterminate us or conquer us or something like that. So
Or enslave us.
or slave us. That's I got here from the book. It says some stuff that you said, but they come from the constellation Grus near the star Alnair. They are one of the most peaceful races. They co-create the aliens of the five race, Council of Five, but are not part of it. I wonder why. That's kind of
So
they're not part of it.
So my understanding is that there's kind of like tiers to this, right?
Gotcha.
It's like saying, I'm the CEO, you guys got to fix it, and this is how you're going to fix it, and everybody else followed suit.
Okay. It says the Council of Five are a group of 5 alien races that protect humans against less peaceful races. They coined the sentence 5 universe, 2,500 species, 1 race. The council is supposed to meet on Earth during the last 10 days of August of 2013. That's not that much ago.
No.
The reason being the fact that Earth has been receiving too many visits from new races in the past 500 years. Last sighted on Earth near the Sea of Cortez, September
2002.
2002. Yeah.
All right. So, give me one second. Last section here. All right. So, I found it to be extremely interesting that they're the people in the top, but they're not involved. In other words, we founded this, but you guys are putting in the work.
Yeah.
God knows how much power you gotta have to do that, because you're talking about like you're not the CEO of a company. You're the CEO of 5 universes. It sounds silly, right? But if you could convince 5 universes, 2,500 species, and 1 race
You got a lot of
to
power.
operate, you got a lot of power. You're like Thanos with all the infinity
rings,
gone.
right?
Yeah. So it's interesting.
They either fear you or respect you. One or two.
You can't have one without the other.
Right.
So it's a downside effect of having power.
Right.
All right, so let's move on to my personal favorite of the week,
Bring it on.
Killamat R.
Like a pirate?
Yeah, like R. Yeah. So, you like the fonts, the new fonts? Yeah, I'm just messing around with it, trying to beautify it a bit to see. So, guys, when you look at the slides, let me know what you think, right? And see, we're trying to make this better every time, try to give it a little more edge without overdoing it and glamorizing it. But I think it looks better. Killamat R.
Yeah, our IT department is always open to new stuff.
New
So,
suggestion,
recommendations. So
right?
bring it on,
Yeah.
Or people from IT, shout out to them. They're really good. And our department has more than 20 people working. And
Around the clock.
They're doing really good work. And shout out to all of them. Peace out, bro.
So, Killamat. Not a lot is known about this species.
No.
Apparently, amazing cloaking technology capabilities. According to the documentation, allegedly, and I gotta put that because I'm gonna use 2 words. The U.S. and Soviet Union governments, right? They created technology,
Wow.
right, to be able to track them, but historically, they've only been able to see them 8 times.
8 times only?
8 times only.
Wow.
Now, why do I like the species?
Because they're invisible?
No, because of the Bermuda Triangle. They're always spotted in the Bermuda Triangle.
I have heard that, there's a lot of planes going missing there and boats.
Ships sinking.
I heard that there's like an alien base down there. That's what I heard.
So, I'm asking myself, what if this thing is responsible for that? You know how they mentioned like pilots actually flown and then they found portals and they end up like in a different place, like
Yeah.
like they just break through time.
Could
and
be
they
a
end up-
vortex, like a
yeah,
vortex.
like a vortex. Yeah. So this is the species that could be potentially be held responsible for that.
Could be.
So when I did the AI video, right, the idea was, well, I want to do this, but I want to be able to visualize like, well, this is a very powerful species. If you got the advanced technology to do the kind of things that we're talking about, it should be able to essentially, create some kind of energy or magnetic energy that makes these planes crash or makes the ship sink. It's possible.
Could be.
So all in all, I found it interesting.
I think that the Bermuda Triangle thing, that's a very. I heard Puerto Rico is part of the Bermuda Triangle.
It
and
is.
Florida.
It is.
Right,
So
Florida.
the southern tip of Florida, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda itself.
Bermuda. Yeah.
So that makes up the triangle.
That's
And given the historical, right, piece to it, I think that it's a very plausible case.
could be. Yeah.
Right.
I got some info here about them.
Sure. Let's
This
go.
is,
Let's hear it.
They come from the constellation Crux.
Yep.
Crux with an X. Crux. Near
Ga.
Crux. It's a very hard race to track down or spot. What you said about Russia and the U.S. But even they have only been sighted 8 times. So same thing you said. And the purpose of their presence is unknown. So we don't know. I mean,
Well.
they're just hanging out. Maybe it could be aliens that are in vacation, and that's why they go to the Bermuda Triangle, because they don't want to be bothered. And every time they see a
Right.
ship, let me sink it with my
It's
laser
in my
gun,
space.
you know.
It's in my space. Like, hey, you can't come here. This is the party spot.
Let me hit the effects.
So there you go.
Could be.
It's a possibility.
You never know, man. I mean,
So yeah. So overall, I like it. I like that it's tied to something that we already know about that everybody's curious on. So Bermuda Triangle. Meet Killimat.
Arr.
That's
And-
right.
And it's funny because they're in the Bermuda Triangle, and like I said, they definitely like the sea or something, because
Yeah.
they are as a pirate, like a arr. So
Yeah.
it's like
It works. All right. So without further ado, Killimat R video.
there you go. Ahoy.
Killimats are from the constellation Crux near Ga Crux. This species is very hard to track or even see due to their cloaking technology. Even with the technology designed to track them, they have only been spotted 8 times in history. No one knows their intentions or allegiance. They have been spotted in the Bermuda Triangle and is considered to be the cause of the sunken ships and planes.
And that ends our section for In Search of Aliens. I feel sad. We had to come back to Earth.
What do you mean?
Oh, was we in space a few minutes ago?
We were in space. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so now we're back here.
I'm okay. I want to get me like a aluminum foil hat.
We'll get some. We'll make it part of one of our episodes where we have to wear something
We should
crazy.
wear it. We talk about alien. We should wear that.
I want to wear a wizard suit.
Because remember, last time we talked about aliens, right? We had that issue with the, So,
Do we have anybody on the chat?
Coralis Otero, it says, it's definitely take a lot to face something you know nothing about. You telling your story will help others to have had the same experience. You're right, Coralis, you're right.
Awesome.
We also have Kate Dan Gaming. There is a similar character in the game Little Nightmares Doll.
That's
too.
right. Little Nightmares
Yeah.
2, they have a character that's like that. So again, so let me just segue into that because I think that's super cool that Kid Dan brought that up. So Kid Dan, shout out to Kid Dan. Hey, so sometimes in media, right, they take constructs of a cryptid, a ghost, a myth, a deity, a god, and they kind of appropriate it for the sake of creating a new character in a game. So Little Nightmares is one of those games that, yeah, it's a creepy game, but it's very psychological and it's very, how can I put it? It's visceral, I guess, to know what these kids had to go through to try to escape a group of creepy looking figures. But there's more to it. I don't want to spoil it. However, this is my segment where where I'm gonna vouch for games you should play. Little Nightmares 1 and 2, amazing. Give it a try. Give it a try and just play it with an open mind so that you understand that this kind of game is it's not just being played for the sake of having fun, but there's a story behind it that is really hard hitting and it touches on a lot of these things. Yeah. So let's go back to our group scene here. And what else we got?
Oh, you mean the
On the chat.
No, we're good. I'm just
Okay.
replying to them.
All right. So now we're moving into the creepy stuff.
Ooh.
So a couple of episodes ago, remember I spoke about Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
They Live, right? Now, I was talking about the movie and how it's a sign of the times, but we never got into discussion piece, right? We spoke about the movie and how it's a reflection of today's time, right? But I just felt compelled, and you agreed, right?
Yeah.
That this is something that we got to talk about, right? And it's something that's kind of weird in some cases because it's things we haven't witnessed, but we know it exists because it's been discussed and documented from other areas that I don't want to mention on screen. But Total Control is the name of the video, right? Now, bear in mind, this touches on different subjects, right? It's not just MK Ultra. It's about other mind control experiments. It's also about people being able to levitate, to use telekinesis, to use different things. So just watch the video and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right. So without further ado,
Hit it.
we're jumping into the creepy segment.
Creepy comforts. Oh.
Many secret organizations have gone through great lengths in learning about social control and its variants. Rumors about labs conducting experiments such as telekinesis, subjects enduring painful tests and pushing their minds into the utmost limit. In some cases, leaving the minds shattered, subjects would become a fragment of their former selves, conducting tests to see if people could levitate and read minds, all for the sake of social control. Experimental advertising campaigns that would create a craze and have people go shopping, which at times resulted in violent upheaval, all for the sake of social control, so that we, the people, can obey. MK Ultra and many other projects have been well documented. Let us discuss the historical facts and present it and see what truths we can discover. So let's talk about it.
All right.
Very interesting.
So, any society, current, past, present, future, always wants a sense being able to direct people. I don't like using the word control, but to direct people. It's not the same as giving directions, but being able to just say, this is what you're going to do, and this is how it's going to be.
You want to hear something crazy?
Tell me.
We are so easy to manipulate and control that a little light can tell us when to stop and go forward.
Isn't that something? Well, I got one better. If you can tell a vision, then you can tell a lie.
Wow. You see?
So, and why is that important? I'm going to go back to my college years. And when I was in college, I took a marketing class that dealt with the psychological components of advertising and marketing products. So there's a segment in it that talks about psycho advertisement. Now, I would put money on it that most of you, if not all, experience this in one form or another. You one day are watching TV and you're watching it normally. And out of nowhere, a flicker just like that happens, and you hear something like bam or zip or pop, and you make nothing of it. 3 weeks later, you're walking down the store and you see a can, and it says bam, zip, or pop. It took that flicker to subliminally be injected into your brain so that when you spot that, you can actually, I've heard about this before. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone says that at some point. I think I know about it, but I just don't remember where. Well, this is the world we live in. This is the real machine that makes people buy things, right? It makes you impulsive sometimes out of curiosity.
You know, one of the strategies of a famous energy drink, they were like struggling on the market. And what they do, they grab a lot of cans, like empty cans, and they flood the entire city of London with the empty cans everywhere. They put on the trash can, they put on the floor everywhere.
Right.
And that helped them to start selling more because people start seeing it. And people were like, oh my God, people are drinking all this. And nobody was drinking it, but it helped them. You know?
I'll do you an even better example. In the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, basketball was huge. Why was it huge?
I don't know.
One person.
Michael Jordan.
That's it.
Yeah. The GOAT.
Now, forget the commercial with Spike Lee. And he said, is it the shoes? It's got to be the shoes, right? The idea that they're selling you is if you buy these Jordans, you will eventually play like Jordan.
Exactly.
Now, how many people bought a pair of Jordans because they look good? In today's time, that's why they buy them, because they're stylish.
Yeah.
They're actually really comfortable sneakers. They're arguably one of the best.
Yeah.
However, in my time, we bought them because we wanted to play like Jordan.
Exactly.
I never played like Jordan.
Yeah, me neither.
Sorry, but, so it's the tactic. So, and if they can do something that simple to persuade you to buy something, God knows what they're capable of.
Exactly.
All right. So that segues into my MK Ultra.
MK Ultra.
So you have information on MK Ultra?
I got some info here. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I got some here. Let me proceed.
Let me actually put you on display.
Oh wow, thank you. All right. It says Project MK Ultra was illegal human experiment program designed to undertaken by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, well known as the CIA, that developed procedures and identified drugs that could be used during interrogation to weaken people and force them to confessions throughout brainwashing and psychological torture. It begins in 1953 and it was halted in 1973. MK Ultra used numerous methods to manipulate its subjects' mental state and brain functions, such as the covert administration of high doses of psychoactive drugs, like psychedelics, like LSD, all that type of drugs, and other chemicals without the subject consent, electroshock, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, isolation, verbal and sexual abuse, and other form of torture. Wow, that's a lot. MK Ultra was preceded by Project Artichoke. So pretty much, apparently they run out of money. they they started a new project doing the same research pretty much. Just
In
with
the
a
name
different
that
name.
after in the name that after a vegetable.
Yes. That's probably how you end up after.
After you do all the lab work, right?
It's crazy. It was organized through the CIA Office of Scientific Intelligence and coordinated with the United States Army Biological Warfare Laboratories. The program engaged in illegal activities, including the U.S. and Canada. Oh, Canadian citizens. Oh, finally.
We got them involved in something.
Right. Some within test subjects. MK Ultra scope was broad with activities carried out under the guise of research at more than 80 institutions outside of the military, including colleges, university, hospital, prisons, pharmaceutical companies. The CIA operated using a front organization, also some top officials. All these situations were aware of the CIA involvement. Oh my God. Don't knock on my door, CIA.
All right. So let's go back to our section here. And so a little more thoroughness, because I will tell you, I've done a lot of research on this, and there's stuff that Wikipedia won't tell you.
Yeah.
Right. You got to look at the people that know more about this. By the way, if you're really into like these kind of conspiracy theories, stuff they don't want you to know.com, or you can go to their YouTube channel. The other one is if you have a Gaia subscription.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of very high-end professionals that got degrees in anthropology, psychology, and politics, and they're involved in this kind of realm that we're in, and they speak it way better than us. But I follow a lot of that stuff of David Icke.
Oh yeah, David Icke.
You know, so a lot of those kind of individuals that they've been doing this for years. You know, it's not just about aliens, but they talk about stuff like this.
Government involvement.
Right. So it's more than that. At the time that this was happening, there was threats of a war between the U.S. and foreign countries, which I will not name. However, the idea was that you can use these psychic abilities, such as levitation and telepathy, and being able to read minds, to your advantage to engage in war. Right?
It doesn't say it here, but the majority of this, how you say that, experiments and stuff, they came from when the Second World War. A lot of the Germany scientific people, the U.S. took them, you know, and they put them here to work. Like the founder of NASA, Bernard Brown, and stuff like that. They used to be German scientists, and they came here and they wanted to know what they knew, you know, at that time, and that's how we come up with a lot of this crazy stuff.
Right. So, what's my thoughts on this? I think that, irrespective of the methodologies listed on the side of the presentation point behind me, the slide, I think ultimately any empire, any government, any you name it, there, you know, first comes the hunger for unity and building something great. Then comes making it better. Then comes the full-on totalitarian approach,
the power,
the control. Right, that's the almighty thing. That's the ultimate for any civilization.
Exactly.
History has taught us that whenever it reaches that point, it collapses. Because revolts happen.
What happened to Rome? What
Yeah.
happened to any big empire? Egypt, Rome, Greece, all these big
Right.
empires. Where are they now?
Right.
They fall. You know.
So they all fall, and this one would be no different.
Exactly.
That's number one. Number two, the means in which these projects were approved, right? And people ultimately paid a price for these kind of tests, you know, that they had to undergo. I mean, have you know, in Stranger Things, 11 was put in a room,
Yeah.
right, until she gained mastery of the ability to use telekinesis.
And some of those stuff in Stranger Things, that's how
That's
they go down. Yeah, exactly.
That's
how they were
exactly
doing.
how it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's a question of ethics, but it's also a question of sometimes in a situation where there's something bigger happening, you have to think about the greater good. And sometimes you got to do things you don't like,
Yeah.
right, to get the results you want. Because you could say, yeah, well, I could see people levitate. Well, if you can't prove it and you can't practice it and you can't teach it, then how are you going to test it?
Yeah.
So people go through rigors, and some decisions are made that are very tough. But that's number two. It's a question of ethics. It's a question of, how far do you push an individual?
Yeah, and also remember that we're never gonna know where they're up to right now, because for documents to be declassified, you have to wait like 40 years. So every 40 years or 50 years, that's when documents get declassified. So
All in all, there's a lot to take in. This one by itself can be its own 1 hour segment.
oh yeah,
I think it's worth discussing. So I'm gonna put this on my timeline as an item of maybe a hour segment piece
Yeah.
where we can do like a documentary style thing. What do you think?
yeah. I think
Okay.
I'm down for it.
Good. So up next, Ghost
Videos, right?
Ghost Ghost videos.
Those videos.
Ghost videos. So without further ado, let's go to the paranormal segment. Ooh. Anyone in the chat before we continue?
Let me see. Sam says thank you. Oh, good. Thanks, Sam.
All right. So
Shout out to Sam. Thank you. Thank
So-
you for the call.
paranormal reviews. As we mentioned and discussed on various episodes, paranormal as described, as in ghosts, no. Paranormal could be anything. right?
Anything.
Anything that's outside of the normal, abnormal, or what's the other word?
Damn.
Yeah, it's abnormal, right?
Not normal.
Or not normal, right? Is what we review. Today, I picked out 3 videos that I think we would both like because they touch on subjects that we like.
I think myself that I'm a little bit paranormal because I think I'm not that normal. Could be.
That's insane. So let's watch the videos, right?
Hit it.
Let's review them. Let's see what we think. And you guys on the chat, if you're on, let us know what you think.
Let us
all right?
know. Let us know.
So we're gonna mute our mics while we play the video, and then we're gonna unmute ourselves.
Yep.
What the blood clot did? It was the dog. Ah!
Let me see. I'll know if she's my dog. Merlin, sit. Turn around. Turn around. Lay down. You're not my dog. My dog don't know how to do no fucking trick. The fuck? Call 911.
All right. So first of all, let me just give credit. That TikTok is from TikToker at scaryvideos.az. So interesting video. That first one.
That last dog looked like my dog.
You gotta show it. There you go. So now you gotta verify that it's a skinwalker or not. But that first video in that segment, let me just go to
Watch this.
oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Here we go. So let's just play it real quick. I'm trying not to laugh.
Christ.
But hold on, we have to.
That's Toño Rosario. That's a cuco.
It's standing up, and its hand. Look at its hands. it looks funny, right? But at the same time, it's creepy. Like, look.
I think that's from a movie. I think.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Well, if it is,
It's
it's great. But if it's real, run.
Yeah, scary.
All right. So there was one about the dog that you saw. Let's just move this along. So that dog, right? And I'm just gonna mute the volume on the video. So that dog goes in the closet, and then she's pointing the camera, and then it's almost like it grew and it's starting to crawl up the wall.
Like something grew.
Yeah. See, it's
That's scary.
now this one. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. That's probably like special effects.
Yeah, probably they caught.
Now this dog.
That's a scary dog, especially with the dolls in the back.
So this is the one that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
So this video has been really hot for a minute, right?
That's the
Where-
one that look my dog. My dog looks like that. That's scary. She's like, turn around. My dog doesn't do that. Get the hell out.
No, the funny part, if you finish watching the whole video, she goes into the room and her dog is in the room.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
that's not her dog, literally. So yeah. I thought it was a cool video. In that first piece, I mean, we were laughing, but it was funny.
It is funny. It is.
All right, so let's go on to the second one.
Watch this.
Did it? Future in hand.
For 130 abandoned flats, and there is something in the window.
Open. Yo. You see movement then? Move the light. Yo. The fuck is that? Yo.
So that video is really showing, and let me just go back into it and remove the audio. So this one is coming from at Lindsay Ivan, right? Basically that person is somewhere outdoors, and they're pointing their camera at this building, and as she's walking in and zooming in, and getting closer to the building, what ends up happening, she puts the flashlight up, and it almost like somebody peeps out
On the window.
right. But it's according to the story behind this is that it's an abandoned building,
Okay. Gotcha.
right? So it's like it's no longer in use.
That's weird then.
So, how I found this one, is it creepy? Yes. Is it gonna scare me right now, or if I watch it at 2 a.m? No.
Oh, maybe if you're in the situation, could be scary.
This
You
is
know,
a
like if you're
situation.
there,
Exactly. You
like if
nailed
you're
it.
there.
You nailed it. It's a situational
Yeah.
piece. You have to go through this in order to feel that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like you could see it 1,000 times. You know, it's not gonna affect you. But I think it's pretty cool either way.
It is.
So
it is.
awesome video. And last one.
Last one but not least.
All right, so that video in specific is from at Scary Video 786 at TikTok. So so that first video, right? This young lady has tons of videos, right? Of this thing happening. She also does a live recording and stuff happens while she's on her live. Now, I don't know if this is trickery or camera magic or movie magic, CGI, whatever. If it is, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. And we do a lot of that too, magic, right?
Yeah.
Right now I'm not here. This is a hologram. And
I can't.
you see?
So, but yeah, so she does. If it's CGI, it's great. If it's real, oh my god, like that's like amazing footage, right? So she has a lot of videos where, and I don't know if we saw that piece where the hands are actually rubbing her head and there's no one behind. So this reminds me of a movie, right? Called was it The Ring or Juon?
Something like that.
Yeah, it reminds me of that. But I think it's great.
Maybe he just wanted to comb her hair, like
Part the hair sideways.
maybe do like a
It's
ponytail
possible.
or something.
It's possible.
Could be. I mean, could be a good ghost.
And this is the same lady, I believe, running out with her dog. Not too long ago, she posted a video of herself running inside the house, and she gets pulled and falls.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you think,
So this one is creepy as hell. Like somebody's at the door. Somebody's head is at the door staring at him.
so you think it could be like maybe her house is haunted or something like that? Could be.
It could be that the house is haunted. It could be a poltergeist.
Could be.
It could be an assortment of things.
You know who I feel sorry for? Oh, Casper. Remember Casper?
Oh, the friendly
ghost?
ghost. The
Yeah,
friendly
the
ghost,
friendly
not the
ghost.
ghost. He's the
Exactly.
friendly ghost.
Because every time we see these videos and stuff like that, I think we're doing wrong to Casper because it's like not all ghosts are bad. Look,
I don't know.
Casper,
I don't know how I feel about that. So,
we're misjudging all ghosts. You know what I mean?
well, when you get to encounter one, let me know how it goes. How about that? You go first. Matter of fact, I'll push you right through the door. So this is the end of the week of the show of the segment. We're starting off a new week now.
Gonna be a better week.
So, what do you make of this episode?
This episode is being very, very, very interesting and good and amazing. I think this is one of our best episodes. I think. I don't know. What about you?
I think today was a phenomenal episode 7.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we took a break between episode 6 because we're making this 13. This season is 13 episodes, right, of live streams outside of the shorts and the rocking out and all that stuff. But this is the meat and potatoes for us. This is what we enjoy: is getting in conversations with you guys, sharing the footage and talking about it and have real powerful discussions. So now we're at episode 7. We restructured the format. What we need from you is to give us a heads up on the chat and let us know what you think, if this works out for you guys. And any constructive criticism is always welcome. I also like that we were able to create like now an episodic thing, right?
Yeah.
Where we can do like a small story. And a lot of people think short stories should be 5-10 minutes long. Sometimes the substance is enough in 1 minute. People will get it.
Oh yeah.
And it's powerful right there.
Doing this, I have learned that 1 minute is a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Today is the first time in a while where we broke the hour and a half mark.
Yeah.
So so just remember, if you are a fan of Distorted Realities and you have people that watch the show, tell them to like and subscribe. We need it in order to help with the algorithm. More importantly, if you are a fan of the show and you're a fan of the imagery that we're providing, we're putting those imageries on shirts and cups and a host of things. The website address is at the top of our screen. Just to say it one more time, https://distorted-realities-shop.printifyme/products. Okay.
I got a comment here in the chat from Sam. It says, "We use ghosts for everything. I think they're ghost spirits, bad and good, and either-bound spirit, which are the ones who have leftover businesses to cross over." Yeah,
I agree 100% with Sam.
I agree 100%.
You know, I think some people have something left to accomplish before they can cross to that next realm or whatever your religion accounts for, right? But more importantly, we are ending the show today. So, Sam, 100% thank you. We appreciate you sharing your story. To all the people that were on the chat, thank you for participating and giving us feedback and showing love and support. Just remember, we have our TikTok. What's our TikTok? Do we know our TikTok address?
TikTok is at this
We're
story
gonna use our
reality.
phone. So let's take a look. So you do TikTok, I'll do Instagram.
Okay, let me put my 100-letter password that I have here.
So for our Instagram, due to the name already being used, it's Distorted Realities, right? But you could also find it as Distorted Realities. For some reason, it shows up either way, and that's at Instagram. And TikTok?
On TikTok is at Distorted Reality Stream. Distorted with a minus D. D.
Lowercase.
There you go.
Yes.
Distorted Reality Stream. There you go.
Yeah. So thank you all so much for watching the show, participating with us, and we are signing off. So Frank, give it away.
Guys, thank you for everything. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Corrales. Thank you, Kid Dan. Everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that make this possible. I hope you guys keep watching, and we need your support. And don't forget to stay tuned every Sunday at 5. Okay.
Every Sunday at 5. So we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Shout out. Peace out.